Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron IV Kaiserreich as Ukraine. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So you've assaulted Kiev. I don't know if it's going to be successful quite yet. It has failed. Excellent. Okay, so that's going to be our second failed attack. Let's advance. You know, let's see if we can maybe just get like the encirclement of Kiev. Maybe that'll work a little bit better for us. Let's do another recruitment campaign because I think we kind of need to do it. So right now we're at 35. So we can't... Well, following us true. It's encircled. Is it encircled? Doesn't seem like it's encircled. What do I know? The counterattack advances. After finally crossing Dnieper, Proskowski's corps have set their sights on Vicentia and cutting free Ukraine into two pieces, separating our northern forces from the ones on the coast. We still don't have reliable numbers to fight fairly, but we cannot retreat endlessly. Northern forces under General Alexander Odensko has been bolstered and are ready to act, but their chances of in open combat are risky. In the south, there are sizable forces under Ural Tudinskuk, but they have been planning to instead advance towards Kataslov, as the heavens forces are busy north. There are still rumors that the hope for Yurochensko's defeat to decisively shift internal balance of the VDR to collapse in favor of the radicals. Convincing them to join would require some diplomacy, but would make victory much more certain. Alternatively, we could try an indirect approach and just aim to encircle Perinsky's forces and cause deaths by 1,000 cuts. But this kind of complex guerrilla operation requires flawless coordination in directing all of our veteran troops to the Vintia front. Political power minus 40, command power minus 50. Move boldly and surprise them. You know what? I don't think you can have negative command power. Yeah, you can't have negative command power. So you know what? Let's do the negative 50 on that one. We'll see how that goes. Excellent. We've gamed the system. Okay, improved machine tools would be nice. Now, the Reichspakt still is not going to intervene. Like, we have 74 days. Now, I don't know if there's a way for us to delay it any further. Hey! The main loyalist force was headquartered in Zarkov, where we started our advance, defeating the rear guard protecting the supply lines. Avoiding direct engagement, Perinsky's units have worn down with the small attacks until demoralization started to take a hold. Although some larger battles happened, particularly in the northern flank, the heavens forces quickly lost cohesion, and they realized that they were stuck. Some units resisted for days more, while others started surrendering quickly. In the final battles, the leftovers tried to break out back to the east, but most of them were unable to escape. This victory proved that we will be able to go toe-to-toe against Heaven's forces, and news of it greatly demoralized our enemy. Okay, so we're back to 20. Now, my thing is, I don't want to just invade Kiev again. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. So we have 7 days on this guy. South Africa's joining International. Again, it's not really something you see too often. Okay, we've centralized railways. What do you do? Much more support, more command power? I'll take it. Because you're going to get us up to 60. The pincer here. 62% chance. So it's not a guarantee. It's not guaranteed, which is a real shame. But I also want to try to assault Kiev again. So, you know, let's do an assault on Kiev. Let's do the pincer at the same time. Pincer will be finished first. I don't know if that's going to make any real difference here, but we'll see. And I know this is 26 out of 24. We'll worry about that after the Civil War. It is not really super high on my priority list at this exact moment in time. I mean, breakthrough is always good. What else we have? Heart attack, efficiency gain, soft attack. Sure, let's go with you. Oh, I didn't even choose anything here. I'm not going to challenge the leadership. I don't think Germany will allow that. But you know what? Let's go for industrial projects. Extra civilian factory. Never hurt anybody. How are you doing? 3 days on this. I mean, 62. I mean, it's in our favor. There we go. And now they're down to 5. So I can't see a reason how they could possibly survive this anymore. Like, we surrounded Kiev. And we know that Belarus is a friendly government. So I don't see them be able to escape off of this. And they have 5 strength. So I think we're just going to go for another direct assault on Kiev. It'll be the 3rd battle. But I don't see how it can go. Hey! Encircle Kiev. Republican forces have been cut off on all roads. Wait, Republican forces have cut off all roads to Kiev. City garrison still stands strong with respectable amounts of artillery, but is hopelessly thin and spread over the massive city. Skoropadsky has led the city. General Leon Spinski has been tasked with defending the fortress Kiev until pro-Hetman and German forces arrive to relieve the defenders. This hope is in vain, though. Ivan Proti Orskenchi's Cossack units have been trying to advance towards Kiev, but they've been bogged down by constant guerrilla attacks from the southern east side of the city. When the General Kiev offensive for the People's Army began, it was clear that the city would not hold. Resistance was brave, and in places pro-Hetman units kept positions were against overwhelming numbers, but they were simply too few, and could not hold everything. By dusk, guns were mostly silent. Capture of the city center effectively means victory for the rebellion. It is both the linchpin of this army's logistics and communications and a tremendous propaganda value. So, does that mean that we won? Did we do it? The guns fall silent. In the waning hours of the evening, representatives of the government still barricaded in the pockets of eastern Kiev met Simon Peturia in the historic Myoskovsky Bridge to sign a ceasefire, bringing an end to the revolt. During the chaos, Hetman Skoropadsky evacuated himself and his family to a small airfield just outside the city, protected by men of the Strict Guard Division. Declaring his abdication to the cabinet, he then made a brief historic address over the radio to the people of Ukraine. I, the Hetman of Ukraine, for 18.5 years put all my strength into bringing this country out of a difficult state that it was in. God did not give me the strength to cope with this task. Now, in view of the conditions that have developed, guided exclusively by the good of Ukraine, I'm resigning from power. The Army Minister has assumed the reins of government, but it's been clear that its intention to immediately start negotiations with the victorious VDR after being informed by high command that any further fighting would be futile. As the dust settled, the rebellion and the soldiers laid down their arms. What was once a fantasy of dreamers and dissidents had become a reality. Ukraine would bask in liberty once more. We get people join the Ukrainian state. USB, USDRP become the ruling party. Public election will be held. Become known as the People's Republic. Excellent. Oh, and we're now a beautiful blue color. Look at that. That's a lovely shade of blue. Now, I'm going to split this army in half for the obvious reason that it was simply too big. Let's put you guys here. You guys can be the green army. Red, let's shift you down. Well, you can be up to here. Green, how far can you go? There's going to be like one open space, but honestly, it's not too bad. And then you guys at Jelly Boo to march your way towards Zarazin and towards this river. Red Army, I'm still happy with where you're at. And we're still missing trucks and light tanks. The thing is, like, I can't really... Well, I'll put him in the list. I'll put him above the aircraft. Into war light tank. I mean, our fucking tank... everything sucks. Like, these are not good units, but... Can I please... There we go. Because how many factories? We have 4 factories right now. Which is really not where we want to be. Also, we have a fully... Okay, this tree's moved over here. Okay. So, the family new and free. Bring the army in line. Quash Hetmanate resistance. Fading... Gains fading Hetmanate. Stability goes up. 300 days. 28 days on you. Let's first quash resistance before we kind of deal with the military situation. They want us to ease up on conscription. What are we at right now? Limited. What do we need for limited? It's 10%. We can get up to 10%. I think within 177 days. Pelotria's proclamation. Before the nation's very eyes, the order that lasted for nearly 2 decades came crashing down. Its place taken by a government many had thought would never return. As revolutionaries celebrated throughout the land and the Hetmanate forces laid down their arms, the Ukrainian people would find themselves on the cusp of a brand new age. Thousands have gathered in front of Central Council House in Kiev, where Pelotria is set to give a historic address. Despite all of his attempts, the Hetman could not break our unshakable belief in the future where we would no longer be bound by chains. The former government tried to silence our calls for freedom, and fought with all of its might against the unstoppable revolutionary tide. And yet, in spite of it all, the Republican cause prevailed. It is finally time to right the injustice committed on our nation 18.5 years ago. I, Simon Petrulia, hereby declare the Ukrainian People's Republic. The announcement would be met with cheers from a jubilant crowd. By noon, the entire country had heard the news. The People's Republic, thought to have been cast off in a dustbin of history, has returned. Somehow. Politically has assumed temporary leadership of the newly declared government until the election, which is set to take place in the coming months. It is still unknown what Germany thinks of this development, but the answer in Berlin is expected to be in the coming days. Long live the People's Republic. Okay. I got Simon over here. Congratulations. When is the election? November of 1940. But I'm assuming there's going to be like a some sort of actual event soon. Right now, the Republican Council is in charge. No one else is in our coalition, unfortunately, which does mean our stability is going to be pretty low because we don't have super high party popularity. Germany demands economic status quo. The starting point of the negotiations have been surprisingly conciliatory. Berlin requires us to remain a military member with all the same treaties in place before, which admittedly were one of the better things this Swarminski administration negotiated. However, this includes granting German business equal rights to Ukrainian ones and assuring that they will not be nationalized nor harassed in any other way. Still, it is way better than the deal that some had feared. Counterproposal, or we just accept it. I think we will, yeah, we'll accept that. We're a new government. We don't have, like, we're not going to worry about it too much. The Socialist Bloc disbands. Early in the morning on the 27th of January 1937, the leadership of the Socialist Bloc convened in the Place Hotel in Kiev to formalize the dissolution of their alliance. In a joint statement, the leaders of each associated party proclaimed that the movement had been formed to unite the socialist parties against the Hetman's regime, and with the Hetman's downfall, the bloc has, therefore, outlived its purpose and has been formally dissolved. USDRP Chairman Isaac Mazepa added, the founding principles of the Socialist Bloc have always been republicanism, socialism, and a dedication to democracy. The cessation of this alliance's operations does not mean we have fallen back on any of our ideals. Volodymyr Voroshenko and Nirfir Hirodliv both concluded that by saying that the coalition between their respective parties would continue, most likely for the sake of the upcoming election, which they do not doubt to participate in. Okay, so the Radical Socialist Party is changing their name to the longest name in fucking human existence. And that's fine. Ukrainian railways return under German control. As per the agreement with the new Ukrainian government, the main arteries of the infrastructure system have been sold to a German state company and put under their administration. In practice, this means the lasting German grip over Ukraine, with the Heer having free movement throughout the country, and Germany reaping financial profits from the system. It's a national humiliation for Ukrainian People's Republic, but Berlin's leadership can rest easily, having reaffirmed the grip as necessary. So 25 political power, we get cheaper trains, we lose some factories. Okay. I mean, it's not. It could be a lot worse, right? After intense negotiation, the two powers reached a shaky agreement. The Ukrainian People's Republic will continue to be military aligned with Germany and will host German troops in the country. However, the economic part of it is much more complex. Going through everything from foreign citizens' rights to conduct business in Ukraine on equal grounds to the locals, to clauses protecting foreign-owned factories and mines from being nationalized or harassed in other ways. All of this has kept the German industry faith in Ukraine as a desirable location of investment, but will no doubt become a troublesome thorn in the Republican side. Increases cost of land reform-related decisions by 10. We join the Kaiserreich Society. Okay. Again, this is fine. I still did want to be a part of the Reichspakt. Galician negotiations. After July of 38, I mean, I wouldn't mind having a negotiation, for sure. Development in Servia. Hetman Skorpensky felt profound betrayal when he realized that Crimea's regional head, Solomon Soklevich, would have taken a significantly more neutral position during the anti-Hetman revolt than the Hetmanists had hoped for. Mr. Skorpensky believed Mr. Soligit enjoyed the benefit of decade-long patronage from Kiev and has shown his gratitude. Solomon disagreed. Crimea had a special region with a unique demography and particularly leadership. He had to make sure chaos from the mainland did not spread far into the peninsula, and in that he succeeded. Crimea remained relatively stable throughout the insurrection. Further, he reasoned that it was too late for the Hetman to defeat the revolution anyway. Kulevik's relative neutrality did not save him from political developments that occurred on the mainland, as the revolutionaries strolled into Kiev government quarters, but they did allow him to escape any real consequences as a leading anti-socialist on the peninsula. The region's head resignation occurred quickly and without too much prior notice. Okay, let's get like 2 divisions to quick. Let's just make you into a new army just so I don't mess this up somehow. There we go. You guys can be the yellow army. You can just deploy down there. We'll give you a decent defense general. What can I do with you, by the way? You know, actually, Winter Expert would be nice. If we're going to be fighting in Russia, having Winter Expert, I think it just makes sense. By the way, do you have any more troops deploying? We do, but it's going to take a long time. Anybody want to sell us? Nobody wants to sell us anything. Am I really that bad of a potential buyer? They don't want to give me shit. The new Constitution. On the 29th of April, 1918, the Senate Rada approved the Constitution of the People's Republic. The document slated to be creation of a parliamentary republic that has guaranteed equal rights for every citizen. Ultimately lasted only a few hours. In the very same day, the Heaven's coup would see the Constitution swiftly replaced with one far more suitable for support against his liking. And yet, those present on the day that was signed into law never abandoned the ideals it represented. Democracy, self-autonomy, independence, they would all be the law of the land one day. It would seem that this day is almost at hand, as the newly formed Constitutional Committee convenes in the Central Council House to begin the process of restoring the Republican Constitution. Over the next few days, they will thoroughly examine the legislation, amending it where necessary. There are many contentious points in the nearly 20-year-old document, which will no doubt cause stir among the members of the committee, just as they did back in 1918. Still, the Constitution of the People's Republic, thought to be the most progressive piece of legislation in Ukrainian history, is set to come into effect in the coming weeks. This time, with nothing standing in its way. With the event of this event chain, we will gain a national spirit, the effects of which depend on the choices we make. Understandable. Okay, so it looks like Albania has joined up with Bulgaria. Do I want to send volunteers to Bulgaria? Who's in charge? Second concentration, so it's not Zeno. We can send one division. You know what? I do want to send a troop. Nothing like too crazy, just like one dude. We could also theoretically send a troop to Albania as well. Voting rights for convicted criminals. As the Constitution Committee mulls over the soon-to-be restored Republican Constitution, a certain clause has become a topic of discussion over the past few days. The clause in question is Article 17, which states, a citizen of the Ukrainian People's Republic may not be registered in the rights of speech, press, religion, organization, or strike as long as he does not violate the... A citizen of the Ukrainian People's Republic may not be restricted in the rights of speech, press, religion, organization, or strike as long as he does not violate the provisions of criminal law. Specifically, it is the end of the sentence that has caused much debate. Many members of the committee believe that it's unjust to take away these basic rights from criminals, and that this law does not belong in such a progressive document. Others disagree, stating that saying that those who disrespected the institution of the Republic do not deserve to participate in them. Following several days of discussion, the vote is held. So you're going to be political power gain plus 5%, or, I mean, 10, okay. Let's take the 10% stability. I mean, we're at negative 28% right now. I would really, really like to get that kind of dealt with as quickly as we can. Internal administration divisions. The next contentious issue of the Constitutional Committee was that to be the administrative divisions of Ukraine. Before the overthrow of the People's Republic 20 years ago, the law was passed determining that the administration division of the state, determining it between 32 Zemilya lands, which would serve as the electoral districts of the Ukrainian National Assembly and the decentralized building blocks around which public self-government was to be exercised. This proposal was based on Horoshenko's ideas, which proposed that the lands were to be a whole of around 1 million people each, and were sufficient for the independent establishment of sanitary, road, land, industrial, and cultural affairs, as well as for the organization of secondary education. However, upon Skirpentsky's coup, these divisions were changed, resembling the governance of the old Russian Empire. Many have argued that Skirpentsky's administration did not adequately represent the new order, and that the power was greatly centralized around Kiev. But there's no question that we should rectify his errors, but to what extent we do so is fiercely debated. Ukraine's current borders are not the same as it was during the short period of Republican governance, and new divisions must be drawn. So you are going to be more support for social conservatives, 5% more stability, 25 political power, or 10% more stability. We're going to lose 50 political power now. Yes, let us redraw the divisions. Thank you very much. When do our troops get here, by the way? They'll be there on the 23rd, so we got about a week left, which is fine. Okay, next up, we do want to make sure we bring the army in line. The fate of Skorpensky. The tables have turned. The former hetman and his cronies escaped to Berlin before justice could catch them. They are now organizing the Ukrainian national government in exile. They petitioned the Kaiser to support them, though the poor results thus far. It's hard to believe that the Skorpensky could have made such a threat to us anymore. But then again, he is guilty of countless crimes against the Ukrainian people and should face trial. We could request Germany to extradite him, though this may put the German government in an awkward position. We'll make the demand. You can't not make the demands. The 1937 Constitution of the Ukrainian People's Republic. After days of discussion, the new Constitution of the Ukrainian People's Republic has been made the law of the land. The Constitution has been hailed as perhaps the most progressive constitution in Eastern Europe, although not much has changed since the original 1917 Constitution. But more than anything, the adoption of the Constitution has proven to be a more significant symbol of victory over the old order. It enshrines the rights of the Ukrainian people to exercise their authority through the National Assembly and have equal rights as citizens of Ukraine, whether they are Russian, Belarusian, Polish, or Jewish. No longer shall the hetman have nigh unrestricted executive authority, and a new constitution guarantees that our executive branch, the Council of People's Ministers, is accountable to the people through the National Assembly. With the adoption of this new constitution, we stand as a beacon of liberty in Eastern Europe, a shining example of a land of uncertainty that others are sure to follow. I mean, 20% stability is pretty good. I'm not going to complain about that one. But I do think it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So you can show me a thumbs up. Not just really thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.